Yeah, this feels like a good place to be sitting on the floor and doing this video right now because that is the energy I have. So, hi, welcome back to the channel, or hello, welcome if you're new here. My name's Hannah, and I recently took another family vacation to Maine. Again. Yeah, so we were there for probably about a few days, and then we came back Sunday night. So I am still trying to obviously get my life back in order because, as you can tell from the state of this room, it's a little bit of a mess. But we're actually here to talk about other things, which is books and everything I read and am continuing to read since that trip. So I did not actually film a proper intro for this video. I meant to before I left, but we hopped on the plane at 5:30 in the morning Wednesday, which means I had to get up at 3. So that did not end up being in the cards at all. So we're going to count this as a little intro. But I figured I'll give myself a second to figure out the words I want to say. But in the meantime, enjoy this little montage in Maine. So the first book that I did end up reading on this trip was The 3 Lives of Cate. It's by Cate Fagan. I think she's a sports writer, commentary person, that this is her first literary novel. So this follows a anonymous writer known by Cate, who develops kind of like this famous trilogy of sci-fi, fantasy, dystopian novels. But her whole thing is that KK is actually a pseudonym, well, one of her many pseudonyms, because obviously she's got 3 different identities and she's now ready to give her tell-all story. So I think I read this throughout the week. Like, it wasn't like all in one sitting. I read this on the plane on the way up, and then I was reading it while I was at the cabin in Maine. So I actually really enjoyed this a lot. This was on my radar last year, but I finally got the opportunity to read it this year, and I think I got it for quite the bargain at Barnes & Noble. So, very happy that I finally got around to this book. I think I ended up giving this 4.5 stars, if I remember correctly. I'll let post-editing me confirm the numbers, but I think I gave this 4.5 stars. Hannah, please fact check me right now. Yeah, anyway, this was so close to being a 5-star book for me. I think there were just like some parts where I think it kind of slowed down for me. And I think some of what ended up causing the multitude of identities was corny. I think the proper word is corny. It wasn't bad. It was just more of like that was the thing? Really? Like, what? But either way, it was still a fun, bingeable read. I had a phenomenal time reading this, and I love her dynamic with the actress who stars in the film adaptations of her novels, Rye Channing. I'm a Cate Rye shipper until the day's end. Yeah, I loved Cate and Rye a lot. I love them. So I'm very excited that I finished this book on the trip. So that's book number 1. So while I was in between KK and another book that I'm going to touch on in a little bit, I also did start and complete the 5th installment of Heartstopper, the graphic novel series. So I obviously don't have a copy of it in front of me because I rented it on my Libby app on my iPad. So if you don't know what Heartstopper is, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Get caught up on Heartstopper, please. Anyway, so Heartstopper, it follows Nick and Charlie. They're these 2 boys in a British school. They meet, they become friends, and they eventually end up falling in love, and they're going through the trials and tribulations of their relationship together alongside with their friends and their families, and also dealing with their own mental health struggles and learning to be better on their own and be better together. So I finally was able to get to volume 5 because I think I wasn't putting it off. It was more so that I just didn't find the right time for it, and I wanted to wait for the right time to read it. So I finally took the chance to jump into that on my trip, and I think I ended up finishing in like 3 days. Because again, I was toggling back and forth between multiple books. So anyway, it is still a cute series. It is still so endearing and wholesome and heartbreaking. I need to watch the Netflix show. I need to get on top of the Netflix show so bad before new movie comes out. I'm excited. So I think I ended up giving that one 4.75 stars. I think it rounded up to 5. It's somewhere in between 4.75 and 5. But anyway, yeah. Heartstopper Volume 5. I don't need to go any further than that, because perfection. Oh boy. So while we were going through our little journey in Maine, I know I was also trying to complete the audiobook. Well, I should be honest. I started this audiobook before the trip, like way back in May, but I kept having to renew it to just get the darn thing read, and I was having trouble connecting with trying to download it offline and all that, so it was a bit of a struggle for me, but I was able to finish the audiobook this week. Obviously not on my trip, but I did do a little bit of audiobooking for The Possession of Alba Díaz by Isabel Cañas. This follows a young woman, I think in the late 18th century in Nueva España, and she's going to her fiance's family's mine, and they're trying to flee a plague, and she somehow ends up bonding or being forced into a bond with this demonic entity that has somehow wound up in the mines and is now possessing her. And the only one who could really help her is this alchemist named Elias, who's there to figure out why his dad died and a whole bunch of other pieces of shenanigans. I'm not doing a good job describing this book. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I won't lie. This, unfortunately, was a struggle for me. This was a struggle. And it sucks because it was a great premise. I liked the concept. I liked the... What the hell was that? What the hell, bro? Did I just piss off some spirit because I was talking trash about this book? No, anyway, I don't care. Yeah. Unfortunately, great concept. Love the historical context. Love the alchemy parts. But this was not well executed. I lost interest in many places, and the demonic entity was just doing way too much telling and not enough showing, which y'all know by now I hated the book. Yeah, I just think I really ended up enjoying the hacienda more by this author. However, I do appreciate how Isabel Cañas does discuss female autonomy in this book and how those issues still relate to this day, even during a time of the Inquisition. So, with that being said, I ended up giving this book 3.25 stars. This is unfortunately my letdown read of the trip, so I think it's safe to say that I can safely move on from this book, not have any more lights flickering because I've talked trash about it! Alright, so the last book that I ended up starting on the trip, and I'm still working my way through right now, is Even Though I Knew the End by C.L. Polk. So this, I don't really know how to describe this book. It's a blend of hard-boiled detective fiction, historical fantasy set in the 1940s, and sapphic romance. And it is brilliant. It is brilliant. Okay, I probably should describe what this book is about. Okay, so, Even Though I Knew the End, this is following a mystical detective named Helen who is trying to hunt down the White City vampire in 1940s Chicago. And she has made a deal with this demon to save her brother's life long, long ago. And she's now coming up on her death date. And if she does find a White City vampire, she could basically get her soul back and be with Edith, her lover. But if she doesn't, then she might end up going to hell. So, yeah, that, again, this has just been a great read so far from what I have read. It's been very intriguing. Nothing really like I've read before. So, I'm very much looking forward to finishing up this book. Okay, so those were what I primarily read on the trip. And then while I was in Maine, I did end up, I did end up picking up some more books while I was there because I'm crazy. Okay, so we ended up going to Owl and Turtle on like one of our last days. It's this like little independent bookshop in Camden. And while I was there, I ended up picking up... Yeah, I picked up Emily Hemmer's Happy Place, okay? I'm sorry. Here's the thing. I know I was kind of like in between about my feelings for Beach Read when I read that last year. But I knew that I had Happy Place on my radar because I think the premise of it just sounded neat, and plus since the story is set in Maine, I figured why the heck not just get it and reminisce on my New England summers. So I am very much looking forward to adding this to my July TBR and really soak in some summer reads that are obviously not summer slashers and camp-based horror books. Or just horror of any kind, because we are a horror channel. And then this last one that I ended up picking up was not one that I bought, but I read this a long time ago, and I forgot that I had a copy of it up in our place in Maine. So I ended up taking this back home with me, and it's Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe by Heather Weber. So this is kind of like a magical realism literary fiction that follows a woman who ends up inheriting a restaurant or diner in her family's name, and there's some magical elements that go on with it. She's trying to reconnect with the townspeople. She's trying to reconnect with other family members that may or may not also have this magic. I read this a few years ago, and I really enjoyed it back then, and I don't know, I was just kind of thinking about it again, and when I saw it on the shelves in Maine, I knew it was time for me to reread this, so I think this might just end up being a reread for myself this summer. Because again, even though I was saying that, I know I'm primarily reading a lot of horror novels and mystery thrillers, that I really do want to try to like push myself to read other kinds of genres, which is why you see me have Emily Henry's novel and also this. But yeah, I'm excited to jump back into this little world and just rediscover the comforts of this novel. So that's Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe. And then the last book, this is one that I think I ordered on the way home because I forgot that the book was coming out this month. But I've had my eye on it since the end of last year, and I don't have it on me right now because I'm waiting for it to ship to my place. And that is The Secret World of Briar Rose by the YouTube legend herself, Pham. So it's actually a retelling of Sleeping Beauty, where you have a pair of sisters that enter into this dreamlike world where you have Briar Rose as this kind of like alter ego. I think that's how it's described in the synopsis, where it's covering a lot more themes of depression and mental health. And it's also sapphic. So I'm very much looking forward to diving into this secret little world that Pham has created for everyone to read. So I am very much looking forward to it. I'm feeling very ecstatic because I think I had commented on one of her videos that she posted recently saying that I was really excited to read it, and she actually did respond back. She replied. So I'll post a screenshot here of what it is. It made my fangirl heart very, 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 very happy. So, Pham, if you're watching this, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I am so hype. So, that ended up being my reads for the Maine trip. And obviously I'm still working my way through my June TBR. I'll probably do another reading vlog of some kind before June ends, and maybe throw in a little bit of resetting, because who buddy, we need to reset this place so bad. I'm cluttered, I'm overwhelmed, so very, very much looking forward to getting my life back together once again, because when is it ever not in chaos? But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the rest of my summer reads, and I'm looking forward to continuing on with my June TBR, and to also continue on with Even Though I Knew the End. And I'm very grateful that I was able to go up and spend a little bit of time in Maine before I lost my chance this summer, and I'm just relieved that I was able to relax a little bit, take some time away from looking at emails and billing and I could actually squeeze in some reading time for myself. Because I needed it. And I cannot believe that I've read almost 4 books already this month. And we're not even halfway through the month right now. So I'm very proud of myself for that. So here's some more reading in June. Here's to you, hopefully you taking some time for yourself. Oh, that's my dinner. Okay, I better go get that out of the oven. So that's my cue to go. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your June if I don't see you sooner. So, bye!